Welcome to Oddball History, dipshits.
A boom, 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 boom.
How.
Welcome to Oddball
I
History.
realized we've been f***ing that up. It's bang, bang, bang after the first boom, boom, boom.
Am I
we're like
confused?
fast forwarding
I think
a little
we're
bit into the song.
confusing the one song that starts NCIS and LaGrange.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think we're just combining them somehow.
Yep.
But we're too deep. We can change.
Living members of ZZ Top, right on in.
Yeah.
We will break out the old third mic for you.
We'll do it. Padma, ZZ Top, not Nick Carter.
Welcome anytime.
Yeah.
You goddamn monster.
I got like a strike on a description making fun of Nick Carter on YouTube. They sent me a thing. They're like, hey, maybe you should look into this. I don't know if you want to change that or not.
Well, that's upsetting.
And I was like, what's odd? What a weirdly passive aggressive. They won't tell you like, change this. We don't like this sentence. They're just like, maybe if you want to check it out, do that. Or,
Why do they
swift
wanna,
retribution.
Why are they in cahoots with the Carter family? Is my question.
Conspiracy theory, everybody. We got a new one.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's we're in Dallas, Texas. It's very hot, and the Mavs suck. That's kind of.
They're not doing well.
They're not doing well. The Celtics are very good. I'm not going to be that fan. They got to the championship. That's a good run,
Yeah.
I'm not attached enough to where it affects my day.
Yeah, the Celtics are really good, and honestly, it was worth it to watch them run through the West.
It was fun.
Nobody expected them to be here. Luke is a god. Derek Lively is a budding god. Things are ultimately looking up. It's a sad end, but to an ultimately good season, I feel like.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the journey's really about...
I don't know why Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing.
Why is that?
No, he played a bunch of minutes last night, and
Okay.
it wasn't good.
They're like, come on, guys.
I was being really positive, and then I thought of one of my gripes. And then I was all out the window, my positivity.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Just in the blink of an eye.
Cutting off it's important the friends we made along the way line. We gotta focus on the priorities
The
here.
friends we met. All right.
Like the priorities today is covering the Lake Worth monster. Like and subscribe. We're
That's
professional.
right. He's the Lake Worth monster. He's like our Sasquatch, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the closest one we have. Actually, Sasquatch, there's a Sasquatch hotspot just like 2 hours from Dallas. If you just drive east, that's where the traditional Sasquatch is said to live. That in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah, basically
I do
one of
love
those
the
two.
Joe Rogan joke on an old special, like 3 ago. This is like 15 years ago. But it was you're more likely to find Sasquatch than you are a black person looking for Sasquatch. And I enjoyed that joke. That's a good one. A lot of weirdos in the woods. Weirdos in the woods.
That is true. I've watched Sasquatch hunting shows, and not a lot of soul power.
No, zero
going
actually.
on. They have a lot of Gary Bertiers and no Julius Campbells, if you know know what I mean.
What a reference. We're throwing out references, everybody.
I wasn't sure. I couldn't think of Julius Campbell's name for a second, but I got it in time. I shouldn't have admitted it. This
guy's a professional. He's a performer. He knows he can go on that tightrope and come up with it.
I saw a movie where the guy who played Julius Campbell, Wood Harris, a great actor, he's in The Wire. He's Avon Barksdale in The Wire. He played Jimi Hendrix in a movie in like the early 2000s. Pretty crazy if you've never... I know Wood Harris from a lot of things, and I was not expecting him to see him.
Was the
Jimi
movie good?
Hendrix. It didn't seem
okay.
It didn't seem to be very good.
Yeah, Scott's on a bad movie kick lately.
Yeah,
which last week didn't expect the 7 Brides for 7 Brothers to be such a hit.
Well, that's not a bad movie.
That's a good movie.
That's a good. That's a classic
with a crazy
crazy plot.
Yeah. I did love people defending it where they were like, no, the women are sobbing.
A little more polarizing. Yeah.
Because it's the Sabine women. They're mispronouncing it. That's why. And then there's specific lines about tears. And
the entire song is about them crying. It's literally.
It's about them crying. You can get the first sobbing Sabine.
They cried and kissed and cried all over that Roman countryside.
Yeah.
I'm taking it directly from the horse's mouth.
That
and
seems
by the
like
horse,
crying. Tears of not joy.
The leader of the red-headed kidnappers from the mountains, who we love so dearly. just athletic dancing.
It was incredible dance numbers.
That's the thing about these kidnappers. They knew how to put on a show. You know,
it's the original jingle the keys at a baby. If you got a snappy number, they'll let you just take them.
I always thought, not to rewrite a classic, but during watching it, I've since watched the whole movie.
Yeah.
I should say I've since watched all of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Thought it was very funny. There's one part where they're doing a dance off with the guys from the town. They're like trying to win the women that way before they ultimately throw quilts over them and kidnap them while they're crying. But anyway, they're doing this dance off, and they go up on because it's like a barn raising. So there's a big plank, a wooden plank sitting on two sawhorses, and they're dancing up on this plank like it's the
beam event.
Yeah, a beam kind of thing.
Yeah.
And at one point the townie guy, he does his little dance, and then one of the brothers hops up, and the guy, he had been doing this dance with an axe, and the guy jumped up and grabbed the axe and then did his own dance with the axe. But I thought another funny direction to take it would have been if he had snatched the axe and then just killed the townie with the axe. Like the dancing stopped for a minute and he just hacked this guy to death.
That's going to be Christopher Nolan's next project, is the gritty reboot of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah, mostly the same, except for there's just a gruesome murder in the middle of the barn raising.
It's like, God, Dorcas, you really got a hold of him on that one.
Jesus.
But okay, we're talking about a 7 foot, 300 pound, half goat, half man, scales,
gargantuan,
long clawed fingers.
Does the monster need a little editing? Maybe, you know? That was my first thought.
We got a couple chefs in the kitchen here, all right?
It's like when you're a kid and like playing superpowers, like everybody like has a superpower.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
And there was a kid that was like, I have all the superpowers.
We're like,
And
all
you're
right,
like,
guy, okay.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
All right? You just taught me to hate. You just taught me what it is to hate another person. I am a child.
And I hate you.
And you taught me that.
I want
by
a redheaded
all the superpowers.
I want a redheaded mountain man from the 50s to find you on a balance beam trying to dance for his girl
with an axe in hand.
And get a hold of you with that axe. All right? That's what I wish for you.
A gruesome end at the hands of a redheaded mountain man who also looks like he's from the 1950s. Like his hair is very stylish of the time for the 19. It's that one where it's like kind of a cone going forward from both directions.
A classic look, really. James Dean, if you will.
It looks like the cover of, if this makes sense, the cover of Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, all the like mountains are like hanging over. That's how 50s hair was.
Yeah. So we're in outside of Fort Worth, Lake Worth. They have a little place called Greer Island, which is essentially just a place where like high school kids go drinking and stuff.
Yeah, party at the Moon Tower type place. It was their kind of Moon Tower. It was where kids went to drink and fondle each other.
Yes, as they're one to do.
I bet some of them called it Rear Island because they were grabbing cheeks. Young love is what I'm saying. That's what Greer Island was about, or Rear Island, as the kids all called it.
Just making fond memories, fondling memories.
Fondling memories. July 10th, 1969. This is when, same month that we're going to the moon. And I love that, there are reporters.
Hey, back up on the moon stuff.
Oh, do I get to cover a man going to the moon? And they're like, no, there are some drunken teenagers that reported seeing a fishy goat man. And that's what happened. July 10th, 1969, a story appeared in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram afternoon edition. Fishy man goat terrifies couples parked at Lake Worth. Couples parked there getting it on. Reporter Jim Mars wrote, 6 terrified residents told police early today that they were attacked by a thing they described as being half man, half goat, covered with fur and scales. 4 units of Fort Worth police and residents searched in vain for the thing, which was reported seen at Lake Worth near Greer Island, where they was getting they fuck on.
Hot news.
That part wasn't in the report. Yeah. In the initial report. That was I took that from context clues.
You got to read between the lines sometimes. That's where the real message is.
You do. So it's important that it's in the afternoon edition because this gives residents time to
get their pitchforks,
go on beer runs, get the guns out of the old gun cabinet, and head on down to Greer Island to mill about. So then July 11th, the next day, a big crowd. There's a crowd the night of, and then a crowd the next night. The crowd the next night here's a cry that they assume is from Fishy Man Goat. And then that is also when the tire is thrown. This is a big part of the Lake Worth monster lure.
Which now it has the name the Lake Worth monster. Much catchier, much scarier than Fishy Goat Man.
Yeah, Fishy Man Goat was there early. That was
obviously a first draft.
That was their version of stunning Steve Austin. It was like, it's clearly not there in retrospect.
Yeah, he's got scales. He's a goat. He's a man. Fishy Man Goat.
Fishy Man Goat. They were going to lunch when they got there. It was the afternoon edition.
We got to put the papers going out.
They were like, we already put in our order at the deli. We're not
showing up late to that.
Yeah, I'm not letting my Reuben cool off. Is one thing I know about the Fishy Man Goat. Yeah, he's not costing me a hot Reuben.
The French dip, the au jus, has got to be piping hot.
It has to be hot, or what? I mean, why? What are we even?
It's what separates us from the beasts.
It's what separates us from the fishy men goats. You know, hot deli meats.
Hot deli meats. So this monster throws a tire
through a tire.
From the woods. Just a tire emerges.
He threw a tire from off a bluff. There was you can actually look up on YouTube, WFAA Channel 8, our local ABC affiliate here in Dallas. They did a news story at the time about the tire throwing incident.
Just about the time man, in all his wisdom, decides that he has this world and everything in it all figured out, along comes something he can't explain. Take the recent reports of the Lake Worth monster, or creature, or whatever you want to call it. Some who have seen it say it looks like a half man, half goat. Others, who are a little more conservative, describe it a little differently.
Well, it was about 7 foot tall, weighed about 350 pounds, and it was hairy, and I couldn't see his face. It was in the dark.
There's a report that it has scales, too. Did you notice that?
I was so scared I didn't see nothing like that.
You said it took the tire off your pickup. What did it do?
No, it was not the tire off in our pickup. It was in a sand pit that they dug dirt from, and he threw a tire some 400 to 500 feet. And the police that looked at the tire in the back of the car said that it had to come off from a pickup. We didn't have no pickup there, sir. We had a Rambler, little Rambler out there.
Did it look like he was throwing the tire at somebody, or?
He's throwing it at everybody, about 40 people.
This is the place near the Greer Island Wildlife Refuge where Harris allegedly saw the creature or monster or whatever you choose to call it.
It was up there on those cliffs, and it'd stay up there running back and forth, and it wouldn't run the whole distance around. It just run halfway around it and halfway back, and it wouldn't run through the trail that was up there. It'd run through the edge of the cliff that was pretty rugged and had a lot of weeds and trees around it, and I couldn't see how no human could really get through there as fast as it could.
The skeptical say it's a man in a monkey suit, but some say it can't be, that no man is that big or that strong or could make so hideous a sound. At any rate, something happened out here last night, and so tonight there will be more people back, armed with cameras and probably with rifles. And this causes apprehension, particularly for police who say that, monster or no, if there are very many rifles here, somebody might get hurt. Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News at Lake Worth.
It has the most country-ass eyewitnesses you've ever seen. They're delightful. The guy says he threw a tar.
Tire came out of nowhere.
450 or 500 yards.
I'll tell you what, cowboy, that tire was flying, all right? I ain't seen no man throw a tire that far.
It was a fart, and I love it so much. I love, too, that they're like they were just roaming around out there, like getting drunk.
There's no concerted search effort. It's just everyone got together and it's like, well, this is an event.
And a tire gets thrown, and they're like, I mean, this is great. Whoa. This is why we're here. This is,
spooky.
We wanted to come and start with the fishy man goat, and we did, and he threw a tire.
Threw a tire at
I feel
us.
like we got our money's worth.
Then there was the other, the guy that had him jump on his car.
Yes.
In the night, he's like driving through, like to Greer Island through the woods, and something jumps on his car, and then he swerves to get it off and runs into a tree. Which sounds like convenient usage of a local event to get out of a DUI.
Yeah, it really sounds like you ran a man down with your car. It sounds like you ran a man down, possibly hit him like in Signs. Was it Signs where the lady was pinned against the tree?
Yeah.
Possibly that, but he had a long scratch mark apparently.
Yeah, from his
car.
man he struck in his vehicle while drinking at the lake.
From either the fishy man goat or a tree that he
ran
pinned
into.
Poor guy against.
I read that part of the story and was just like,
Yeah, I don't know.
skeptical hippo eyes.
That and
The only Brendan Schaub quote you'll get today.
you gotta get you gotta feel like it's your lucky day if you run your car into a tree and then they're like, oh no, did the fishy man goat that was recently reported around here do this?
As he's throwing beer cans out of his car, just like, yes,
it did.
That is what happened.
What you said
Is what I saw. We all
is
saw
the
it.
cause for all the damage.
Yeah.
And it drank all of these bottles of Jim Beam, these empty Jim Beam bottles that are clanking around.
That fishy man goat.
That son of a
Jumped
bitch.
on my car, wrecked it, drank all my booze, and ran off into the night. Monsters.
Mother.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about him. He's got no class. He's trying to ruin my life.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch.
That son of a bitch.
He just dined and dashed at IHOP while wearing a me disguise, too. I didn't want to even throw that in there at first because it seems really trivial in light of what just happened with my car.
But now that I know it's a thing happening, I think it'd be remiss of me not to report this to the authorities.
But now that he's making people crash their cars and throwing tires, I wouldn't feel right.
Without saying
Wouldn't
this.
feel right. Not
Breaking
mentioning
news.
the IHOP thing.
I feel okay. I said I wasn't going to do this
son of a
of showing
bitch.
the people complaining about it, but whatever, we're doing it. Just because it is a funny story. There was a monster. It's still like around today. But is there more to the timeline of when they gave up?
Oh, well, yeah. Actually, there is just a little bit more to the timeline. Okay, there's around this time. There's July 12th. The mob gets even bigger. At this point, there's a giant mob of drunken Texans roaming around this section of Lake Worth, causing a police sergeant to say to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, "I'm not worried about the monster so much as all those people wandering around out there with guns." Which is probably fair, you know.
Fair point.
I would probably expect that. And then the rest of the summer, so for like around a month or so, there's more reports of weird shit happening.
One guy got a picture of it.
Yeah, that was a little later on in the fall. His name was Alan Plaster. In October, he got a picture of a big white thing. It looks like a lucky rabbit's paw that you're holding up to the camera to make it look
like a
big.
forced perspective thing.
It is. We'll put it up, but it is not like an impressive. You know, it's not like, wow, that is
Look at the detail of
piece
this
of
photo.
evidence here.
Like you found a white thing outside.
A lady in this time is among the throngs at Greer Island, Sally Ann Clark. She eventually writes a book about fishy man goat. It becomes a whole big thing at the end of that summer. The local soldiers who are in Vietnam, the soldiers and sailors, are writing. They're hearing that there's a fishy man goat back home and writing like, hey, could you send more details
about the fishy man goat
new
thing?
monster they found at Lake Worth? Which has to, I mean, you know.
Yeah, you expect the bad news to come from the front, not from the back to the front. You know?
You're in Vietnam. You're like, oh my God,
War is
I'm
hell.
living in hell, and now
There's a goat monster
I gotta worry about
terrorizing us.
fishy man goats.
Yeah.
Back home, back stateside.
But so
what are we even fighting for? It makes you wonder. The fishy goatmen are running around with impunity back near our wives and children.
We've been having the same political arguments forever, or so we should be taking care of the home front first, all right?
But so, that goes on for like a month. And then weirdly, coincidentally, around the time
high school goes back into session,
the sightings of the fishy man goat completely dry up. It goes away. And then it kind of just disappeared to time until like the late 80s. The late 80s is when we start getting people starting to come forward.
Like a good ghost story in a town, like it's still the legends there to scare kids and stuff.
Yeah, they still talk about it and everything, but it's pretty much gone. At this point, weirdly, there's like a bunch of people that come forward to take credit for like parts of it.
Yeah.
But weirdly, the woman who wrote the book, Sally Ann Clark, she ended up saying that she wrote the book kind of tongue in cheek, but ended up seeing the monster and believing in it. And she was like, if I could do it again, it would have been more like a history and less like fiction, because I know it's real now.
That feels like marketing where...
Here's the thing. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
But her husband said that she put up $5,000 to anyone who would pass a lie detector test saying that they were the fishy man goat. And they never did.
Yeah, I always love that. Now, knowing as an adult that lie detector tests aren't real.
Yeah.
People, all those claims of, I'll take a lie detector test. And it's like, no, you just lie. And that's how you get through those.
Yeah.
If you can just lie without raising your heart rate, you're okay.
Yep. But we can't talk about that because then, like, Maury Povich would be less fun. We have to. We need to think that they're like. There's also when they sometimes do lie detector tests on like dating shows, and none of the contestants ever know that they're bullshit. They all they take them like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Actually, on Love Island, they do that with heart. They just monitor their heart rates, and like if a guy's heart rate is brought up more by another girl than the girl that he's dating while they're doing lap dances on him, they read so much into that. They're like, you're clearly
science.
In love with her.
Hard science, like, I don't pun intended.
That's right.
That's right.
Because their cocks dicks. Are getting hard. Well, they're getting danced up.
Oh, hard cocks.
I wonder
that's what we're about around here.
I wonder if they even get hard from lap dances by the end. They're getting so many lap dances.
You gotta,
at some point,
just having your jeans wore down.
Your spirit's just broken.
Yeah.
You're covered in food. They always cover them in food for some reason. Someone on the production staff has a fetish. And they're just covering these kids in food every chance they get.
And then rubbing them up on each other.
Humiliating the shit out of them. If it smells and is hard to get off, bonus.
Yeah.
They hate these kids.
So why I thought...
Check out Love Island.
I actually have never seen Love Island.
It's dark. I
just don't believe that it's dark.
It's grim. No, if you read between the lines, it's really grim. They all eat... grilled cheese all the time, and that's like all they eat, and they love it. So like it's like if you gave a grilled cheese to like a refugee, and then they get voted off, and then they come back and they're like, so how has your life been since you've? And they always just say like they've liked having their basic freedoms back since being in Love Island. They're like, oh, I just like to be able to leave places and go to sleep and wake up when I want. They can't wake up when they just just turn the lights on.
They're just like an old torture experiment.
It's like prison with IKEA furniture. And they just turn the lights on. And hot people,
So why I thought that was a marketing thing is she definitely wrote her book tongue in cheek, had some sales, and then there was a resurgence of this thing as like a serious with all the cryptid stuff. And she went, I think I'm gonna sell some books again.
I was actually being serious about all that.
Because
that's the same thing L. Ron Hubbard did. He was like, I was actually being serious about all that.
I was just going to say that out loud, judge your response. And then
exactly, yeah. Does that play? If I said I meant all this, would you guys...
Okay, we're in. I meant it.
I was...
There's this guy that's still on it today claiming that it is an undiscovered primate species that has been living in Fort Worth, Texas for 70 years.
He loves Lisa's chicken.
Yeah.
He knows you can't get better snacks than Lisa's chicken. What other drive-thru has mini corn dogs that you can just add on to your order for $1.69?
Not a one of them.
None of them. These corporate places, they don't know nothing about the power of mini corn dogs. Only Lisa's knows.
But this guy's name is Craig Woolheater.
Oh, yeah, I read about him.
And he is the founder of the Texas Bigfoot Research Center. TBRC, which we can't imagine. He's a busy man.
He's busy going into the woods.
Yeah, hanging out.
On the weekends.
He doesn't have a lot to cover. So, it's got a lot like the Marlboro doctors being like, we haven't seen all the evidence yet, Mm-hmm. He's got a vested interest in this thing being real, but...
Yeah, I liked that they cited him on Wikipedia. They were like, this one guy whose whole life is that cryptids are real.
Yeah.
He thinks this cryptid is real. It was very funny.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing, by the way, about cryptozoology people. Like I said, I've watched some like hunting Bigfoot shows, and that's the thing that keeps them in business is it's just instant benefit of the doubt to whoever claims to have seen a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Ever. Like I turned it on one time.
They're all the 12th juror. The guy that can't get on board.
2 minutes.
No, I don't see it.
2 minutes in. 2 minutes in.
We're gonna be here all fucking day. We all agree. Mm-hmm. Put this man in jail. I'm like, I don't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
cryptozoologist.
That's this guy. Yeah. He's like, that was definitely a Bigfoot. They confirmed a Bigfoot like 2 minutes into the first episode. Yeah. I was like, hell yeah.
We're in it.
These guys, they're not,
But so growing up, and I grew up in around Denton County, North Louisville, like that kind of stuff. And we had a goat-themed monster as well. This was more of the ghosty variety. It was called Goatman's Bridge. And if you walked over it at night and turned your flashlight off, you'd see the ghost at the end, and all the teens would go there to, fondle about and get scared. And
then later it turned out to be the owner of the railroad who was trying to scare you kids off so he could sell the railroad.
Yes. Scooby-Doo Mystery 101. But I actually, for the first time ever, looked, because we did it all the time, and I looked up the backstory of it, and it was in 1884. It's this big iron truss bridge. The Old Alton Bridge is what it's called. It was closed to cars in 2001. So it was and now it's like a park and it looks nice and they fixed it up. But it was a rickety old iron truss bridge that looked scary. And the goat man was a black farmer, Oscar Washburn, who was a goat farmer. And he was a successful man in a time in Texas in the early 1900s where they didn't care for successful black men. And he hung a sign on the bridge saying,
this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Pardon? What? No. Yeah. This way to the goat man. And in 1938, the KKK essentially lynched him on the bridge. And now he is the goat man that haunts it. Which I never knew the backstory. And then hearing it,
I should have known where this was going given the region.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was like in Arrested Development when Michael opens the fridge and there's the brown paper sack and it says dead bird on it, and he opens it up and goes, I don't know what I was expecting. That was kind of like me. This isn't going to be good. This ended with a horrible racial violence. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Which we had one time we went to it, and there was a haunted house across the street from it, which was just an old dilapidated house, but it was clearly not finished. The people ran out of money or something. It just sat there for 10 years. So it was
those are very spooky.
Kind of dilapidated. And so we went to the Goatman's Bridge and to the haunted house across. And it was me and my buddy Andreas, who wants to come on and talk about the Panama Canal in the next month or so. But we had girls with us. And so me and him lead the way into the haunted house in the middle of the night. And the big tough guys. And we step in, and Andreas, the floor breaks and he falls through the floor at the front door. And from that commotion, an owl flies out of the door over the top of us.
Holy
shit,
And the most
little girl screams you could possibly imagine. I'm just no! Just get out of here.
That's hilarious. That sounds like
I was finally realizing, just oh no, it's on it. Oh, man. Yeah, that's scary as shit, dude.
So Wow.
Lived to play another day, though. You know, the goat man didn't win.
I would not have liked
Even though
that.
now I know he had a legitimate gripe, you know?
In my head, it was the house from Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. But anywhere in recent years, okay, back in 1989, it came out that same reporter, Jim Mars, he reported in the Star-Telegram that police questioned a group of Castleberry High students in possession of a gorilla suit, but nothing more ever came of that, I guess. And then in 2005, an anonymous person sent a letter to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram claiming they did it. So they said, one weekend, myself and two friends from Northside High School decided to go out to Lake Worth and scare people. And then he said they went to the Dairy. They did it and then went to the Dairy Queen on the north side. He said the goat man had a parfait, which I liked that detail, but I didn't really believe that. This one gave no details, you know. I wasn't so sure about it. Then 2006, the guy who took the photo, Alan Plaster, disavowed the goat man himself. He said, looking back, I realized that when we drove by, it stood up. Whatever it was, it wanted to be seen. That was a prank. That was somebody out there waiting for people to drive by. I don't think an animal would have acted that way. Which
makes sense.
You think animals can't be showmen? You haven't seen Instagram, my friend.
Raccoons as pets? What? Have you seen those? Adorable.
Some of them were born for the stage, frankly.
They were.
But no, so he's like, he wouldn't even talk about it anymore when this last article I read was posted. And then in 2009, Fort Worth, Texas magazine identified a man known only as Vinzens. I liked that detail. How shadowy is that?
Yeah.
He said that he and his friends threw the tire. What happened was that they had rolled the tire down the hill and it hit a
Lost
rock
control of it
and launched off the bluff. Going however far they ended up. So it did go. Somebody did launch a tire off the bluff.
Yeah.
But of course it was teens.
This is one of those ones I wanted to be like, let's tell the story of the thing and then do the rebuttals. But it's like for every single event that occurred, there is a very literal thing that happened that someone admitted to.
Yeah.
And the fact that all the sightings stopped once high school went back in session.
Yeah. So pretty much it was high school kids
dicking around,
having a good time. So hilarious. I liked this detail too, in all the chaos of that summer. Also, the owner of a kennel near Lake Worth said that they lost a macaque monkey that summer. So they were like, I don't know if my lost macaque monkey might have contributed to the panic anymore, but I got to put my hand up. I lost a monkey. As you do. He's
like, hey,
roaming around.
How big was the fishy man goat? All right, I gotta come clean with something, guys. I lost a monkey.
Oh, that was funny too. At one point when the police they were just like, we don't know. Or like early in the story when the police were like, we don't they said that they were blaming it on either teenagers or bobcats.
I want that to be the only two suspects for more crimes.
Yeah.
This was either who put graffiti on the rival high school's field. It's like, we're thinking it was either teenagers or highly trained bobcats. Could have been either one.
It's funny, too, because bobcats are not close to the description of fishy man goat. They're little cats.
Yeah.
They're little guys.
All these Texans were fired up. They were drunk. They're at the lake. It's dark. The golden hour. You know, the sun's coming down. You see a bobcat. You're nervous. Mm-hmm. You think it's a 7-foot tall goat man with scales and long claws.
Yep, it happens.
We've made mistakes. I've made mistakes.
Any of us
I'm not
could
perfect,
make.
But so yeah. Hey, we're doing a new thing where we're going to run through 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. Was a random topic Scott's been thinking about last podcast. And you got any new bits or stories you've been thinking about?
Yeah. I was remembering. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about this. My brother sent me a video of, all right, get this. It's a bear, and he was eating a carcass of another animal. I'm not sure what. He was on a beach, I'm assuming in Alaska. and the bear is eating this carcass, and a wolf comes up and he wants, pieces of the food too. And the bear keeps growling at him and, like,
don't do it.
Fuck out of here, Yeah. And so the wolf starts doing cute little like jumps. You know how like dogs will
when they want to play?
When they want to play.
Yeah.
Like it's being very cute for the bear and jumping back and forth, is adorable. But then I thought, what a horrifying vision of the future that this could be. What if the bear realizes what the wolf's doing and takes him in? Next thing you know, we see bears with wolves on leashes.
Horrifying.
Jesus Christ, what a sight. That is.
We had to domesticate wolves. Now they're dogs. Now bears are just seeing our success and being like, I think it was the dog thing.
Yeah. Look, bears are scary enough. They don't need wolves walking around with them.
This sounds like a 90s cartoon that was short-lived. Just a bear with power armor and a wolf companion. It already sounds awesome, and I'm on board for it.
They live actually a very uneventful life, is the thing.
It's mostly wandering around and napping. It's most of the show.
The fear I have of this is mostly in my head. When I come to think of it, I think mostly I want this to happen. This is me just being a
get my adrenaline going.
Human, just scared of progress. The kind of progress that is signified by a bear walking around with a wolf
dog on a leash.
Bears and Petco? You want to be in Petco next to a bear shopping for a harness for his wolf? I don't.
And think about it, our grandkids...
Keep it out of my backyard.
Our grandkids are going to watch this and be like, can you believe how unprogressive...
Yeah, they're going to be like,
Scott and Jimmy
Jesus Christ, he was so anti-bear.
You were anti-bear companions?
That was disgusting to hear, honestly.
It's terrible. I like it. That's funny.
I can't wait. I
love, if you haven't seen Scott do stand-up live, it's a trip. And that is an idea that I believe you could make work. It'd be poetic at times and like 15 minutes long somehow.
Yeah, I like it. I think I like it because it's about an internet video, and I tend to like to talk about things that are very old, and then I realize only when I'm on stage how obscure they are. Did you ever do that? I tried to talk about the movie Jack on stage one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no one in the room has ever heard of this movie. I was trying to explain
I was like, it was Robin Williams ages real fast. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
The director of The Godfather directed it, and it's about Robin Williams being a boy who ages 4 times the speed, and it sounds very funny, but it's not. He's dying. He's about to die, and then at the end,
There's
he's
a
like,
problematic
I'll keep
sex
this
scene.
short. Like my life. And it gets a pretty solid laugh from the crowd. And you're like, this is the most callous graduation crowd I've ever seen in a movie.
Let's see. I had one about like the fire station being like a safe place. And it's like kind of ties into like you're allowed to have like toxic masculinity there. And it's just like nice. Where it's like, why? Like they always say we have a super high divorce rate. And it's just because we have a place we go to where we have like a shared goal, you're valued.
And sex boats.
So listen to the old podcast for sex boat
Call
talk.
back.
But then it's like, and then you just walk in, you catch up, you have coffee, you talk about like anyone fix anything while they were gone. Like, okay, any new conspiracy theories you've heard of?
This is a place Tim the Toolman Taylor would love.
It's his
treasure.
Yes, it is.
He would
then
go.
then you all watch Wheel of Fortune together and accuse all the contestants of being homosexuals. That's one of our favorite activities. That one's specific.
Do you do the Tim Taylor grunt ever?
We should do it more. But that joke, that whole idea was pretty much just the Wheel of Fortune line, where I just thought that we literally watched Wheel. It's 6:30. Rest in peace, Pat. He's not dead, but he's done with the show now. I forget who's taking over. I don't think it's his daughter, or is like Vanna the host now, and then they got a new Vanna.
I don't even know.
I don't know. Man. But we watch it every day at 6:30 on weekdays.
I was never a wheel guy. You know?
Pretty universally, we accuse all of the contestants of being homosexuals. Just dude
what a
stuff.
tradition. Just dudes being bros.
Yeah.
One time when I was working at Oakley in the Galleria Mall, they shot a remote shot for when Wheel of Fortune was in Dallas. So Vanna White just came into the mall one night when we were closing up. There's no one in the mall, and then Vanna White and a bunch of people walk in. She was glamorous as shit.
Yeah.
I gotta say, she was so sophisticated. Like I was like, I felt unworthy. Like she was like a queen or something.
1990s Padma.
So glamorous.
That's what she got. She got, you know, she
glamour
got a little old,
coming out of
she's
that.
still beautiful, and
Out of the ears.
I always crack up their like forced conversation at the end. We're like, I was like, why do we need to? Can we skip this part? They've been hanging out for 40 years together. You think they'd have some inside jokes, you know? Where it's just like, hey, we noticed you've had that coat for a little while. And he's like, oh, my stylist knitted it for me. And he goes, well, that's a snappy looking coat. And Vanna gives it to him to try on. And he goes, I'm in a lady's coat.
Yeah. It's very sports
Roll
announcer
credits.
humor.
Yeah.
Sports announcer's favorite joke is just if a guy has a crazy haircut or wears a crazy suit, they're like, Tom, you'd look good in that. And they fucking lose it. It has 100% kill rate in the booths of like football announcers.
Got him. Let's see. I had another one where I don't know, about how like gaslighting works. This is another one of those like loose premises that just has a feeling to it of how like the government can gaslight us with like, it's about JFK and aliens, where they've denied putting out any info about JFK for so long that like we know that the CIA was involved and the government hid it. So now when that comes out, it's not going to be a bombshell. We're all just going to be like, okay, that thing we know that happened. Cool.
Fair.
They did it with aliens too, where they were like, we got a big announcement on Monday. They like did a promo for it. And then they released like some UFO footage. And everyone was just like, yeah, all right. Well, we've all been talking about that for a while now. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
That is crazy. I like the idea. Kind of testing it out soft, you know, doing a soft open.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
I just like, it was mostly the JFK one of just like, we have a pretty good idea of what happened. Like, I think Trump's talking about like finally unclassifying the documents and all that.
Yeah, he said he was going to do that last time too.
Yeah.
He didn't unclassify shit. Did you hear him backtrack when it got to Epstein? He was like, I'm going to declassify this and declassify this. And they're like, are you declassify the Epstein files? And he was like, no, I mean, I don't want to ruin people's lives.
Like mine. I don't want to ruin my life.
Fucking hilarious.
I don't have to do, I'm not going to declassify everything. Like, we still need things to be classified.
Draw lines here.
Yeah.
I was remembering in school, they would come and sell us on being in the Boy Scouts. Did you ever have that?
Yeah.
And I had some friends in the Boy Scouts. So one time they came and they showed the video. Made it look really fun, you know? And I was like, I was in because I had friends who were in it already. And they were like, you should join. And I was like, I'm in. Mm-hmm. And so I went to a meeting and I got a little handbook. We were called the Weebelows, which I went home and my two older brothers were immediately like, Weeblows. Because you blow. And I was like, I should have seen this coming.
I like that it's like a sweet kid thing that they don't know that you're a cocksucker yet. Mm-hmm. It was just like, you blow. Or it was like, we blow. It's right there.
I think they understood.
Were they like 15 or?
I was probably like 9, so my brothers would have been like 12 and 15.
Okay. One of them knew.
So, but I was undeterred. I was like, I don't care. Say what you will.
Now.
I am joining the Scouts. And then the next meeting, they were like, after the meeting, they were like, hey, Scott, you have to start wearing a uniform. And I was like, I bid you a good life. I remember, I didn't say, I was like, oh, all right. But in my head, I remember being like, I am never coming back here again.
The dude does not abide.
I'll be deep in the cold, cold ground before I don a neckerchief. All right? I made you wear neckerchiefs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And also it came crashing down. I was like, what was I thinking? Of course I would eventually have to wear a uniform. I don't know what I was like, where I was like, they'll just let me keep wearing my jeans. Wearing my jeans.
I love Scott's family crest is he does not spend money on Mario Kart mobile app. And he will not wear a neckerchief.
I'll not wear a neckerchief. At least not with the Scout uniform.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'll never wear a neckerchief, you know? Maybe if I'm, again, solving crimes with Scooby-Doo. would be a good time to wear a
I did it
neckerchief.
when I lived in China, and it was very cold there. And I got on board with, I had the childish thing of we're not from a cold place. And I was just like, scarves are gay. For no reason. And then it was cold, and I was like, scarves.
Yeah.
These are genius.
Protect your neck.
Yeah, rappers have known about this for a long time. Mm-hmm. But
Wu-Tang.
you got any
They know about it.
you got any comedy stuff coming up?
Yeah, I have a 325 coming up on in Fort Worth on July the July the 11th.
Nice.
Thursday, July 11th, Fort Worth Hyenas. Saturday, July 13th, Dallas Comedy Club. Yeah, and I think that. Oh, and I'm featuring at the Oak Cliff Cultural Center on Monday, July 8th
Nice.
for an FTC show.
Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Who's the headliner?
Q.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Comedian Q.
Hell yeah.
Salt and Pepper's better half.
Yeah.
But,
So some fun shit.
I did the Dumb Zone like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. How was it?
There was a blast. Like Dan and Jake, formerly of The Ticket, have a podcast. It's got like a big local following, and it was like a professional studio, and everything was great.
It looked real nice.
They were super fun. Dan was like, you can just tell he's been doing it forever. Like everything just flows nicely, and like they're hilarious, obviously. And I like felt like I really like connected with Jake a little bit. Like we were ribbing each other. And, Grady Spencer was on it, which I admittedly have never heard Grady Spencer's music, but my buddy Cole was with me, and we were walking into the lobby, and Grady was opening the door, and he went, "Is that fucking Grady Spencer?" And I was like,
hell yeah.
I couldn't tell you, but it was, and he was nice as well.
Nice.
But we got the mean comment of the week. Are you ready for the mean comment of the week?
No, I hate this segment. Why would we do this?
Well, Scott, it's coming in hot.
All right.
So this guy goes, I enjoy Jimmy's contribution. I will say, however, I visited his Insta and watched clips of his podcast. Cool premise. The co-host, or long hair guy, is awful. I don't know how to say it other than he is very off-putting. Ditch that homo.
All right.
That is...
You want to go?
That is a mean thing. It cracks me up, like, mean comments online.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. I don't know what I expected your reaction to be.
I'm glad.
I thought it was funny. It's so mean that it becomes silly. If it was like, hey, I like you guys. This is a thing I have a complaint about. You feel that.
I hate that guy. I wish him ill. I hope he suffers a painful end in front of his loved ones.
There you go. It's going to be a podcast, a bi-weekly event of the mean comment of the pod. We'll see if they can get one on me next time. But I got June 22nd. I'll be at Dallas Comedy Club on a late show, like Late Night Locomotives. And then I'll be featuring for Chris Porter at the end of the month in Houston, June 27th to 29th. And I was going to be featuring this weekend in Dallas, but Ralph bumped me off that show.
Oh, damn.
So that's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
But he's important and makes money for everybody.
True.
So me being nice doesn't count.
That's right. It doesn't.
It doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I'm working on going to a lake this weekend, doing a little lake trip with the family.
Oh, hell yeah.
Excited for it. I'm going to try to not drink like an asshole. Because Scott's a sober man. I'm not. But it's a thing I've had.
It's hard not to do at the lake.
Yeah, it's a thing I've had to work on, though, where, like, I know, and I got a kid on the way and stuff, where I just, like, don't drink at the house anymore. And mostly it shows I don't drink. But it's like I just don't keep it around. But because of that, I kind of, like, binge and purge a little bit when I'm around it. So, like, I'll go to my mom's house and, like, immediately pour a cocktail. Just be like, I don't drink 13 days out of 2 weeks. That one time I'm at my mom's house, I'm hammering it down.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing. My mom probably thinks I'm a drunk, and you can't be like, I only do this around you, I swear. You know?
That is a funny defense, though.
It's not a good relationship to have with your mother, where she just thinks you're a lush.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to get super hammered sometimes. That's what they say.
That's what they say. I thought the mean comment thing would be funnier. I I didn't mean to just deflate you like that.
I didn't care for it. I'll be honest.
I get it.
I didn't.
Again, I've made mistakes before. I'll make mistakes again. Do you have any closing remarks you want to do?
Yeah, remember, if you want to ride turtles like in Mary Poppins, they have to be cartoon turtles, right? You can't do that with regular turtles.
Write that
Take
down.
that with you. See you next.
Put that back in your hip pocket. All right, see you guys.